This is the Ultra Juggernaut on your average map. And this is the Ultra Juggernaut on its perfect map. That's right, today we're on a quest to find the perfect map for the Ultra Juggernaut and to see how long it can survive on Chimps mode. However, unlike other towers, the perfect map is not as simple as simply picking the biggest circle so that the Juggernaut barely has enough range, because if you do that, then the miniature balls won't cluster up as tightly and you actually lose DPS. So what I did here was some trial and error. I tried different shapes and sizes of the map to see what map ended up getting the highest amount of pops. So with some very rough trial and error, this map, for example, got 4k pops on round 300 against a bad. This one that was a little bit smaller and tighter got 5.2k pops. And now even smaller and tighter, less time to beat the bad, but more overall DPS. But surprisingly, it ends up being very, very close. Also at about 5.2k, and for the smallest radius I tested, well, guess what? It also falls under the exact same range. Now, perhaps the walls I made were a little bit crude and not perfect, but I didn't really want to go too small, just because I don't like the feeling of balloons exiting so quickly. And just for comparison, trial and error the longest maps as well, which were not a circular shape, but rather a long oval, elliptical. And that made it so that even though the track was much, much longer, the Ujo could attack all the time, and so it did a paltry only 2.6k pops. Keep in mind, these are all the same tests done with just a primary mentoring and a true sun god buff. But that's a little bit unfair because we would normally have more range than that, so I added a couple more buffs, but even then, it still only also gets 5.2k. Alright then, how about the longest map, but just a little bit thinner, so that the walls are more tight, bounces end up being better, and would you look at that? The result is a huge difference. Almost 10,000 pops this time. So as OP as that map looked, ultimately I still want to try a circular map for this tower, because 1, it's more satisfying, and 2, it's more satisfying. Plus, as some commenters might have mentioned before, this is more of a test to see the map where a tower would shine best compared to all other towers, rather than finding the map that would get us the highest round with that tower. And ultimately, I decided on this size for my circle, just edging out all the other circular tests at 5.4k pops, and with the P-Brew buff, now up to 7.3k, so yes, unfortunately, 25% less damage. In exchange for the perfect circle, I'll take it. So off I went. Once again, going back and forth, up and down, creating the maximum amount of nodes possible, which is 48, aka 24 maximum rotations around this map. And to accurately keep it as consistent as possible, I just have a couple of cardboard boxes and fences, just so I know exactly where to place each node. And now, after we finish adding all 48 nodes, it's time to add the walls. Now, you might have noticed in the earlier test too that occasionally a random Ultra Juggernaut ball might leak through the hedges for whatever reason, whether that be because of the prop heights or there being small gaps. So to reinforce my fence, I simply copy-pasted multiple layers of hedges on this map, and with differing heights too, just to guarantee no Ultra Juggernaut balls leak through. And just to verify our test once more, here's where our Ultra Juggernaut will ultimately look like come late game. Unfortunately, for some reason, there's like 1 or 2 balls still escaping through, so I will add more after this, but still approximately gets us that 5.4k damage after 1 rotation. So good enough, and this is our final looking map, with a land platform outside the hedge just for our temple, and water for the energizer later. And now let's jump into good old Chimps mode to begin the test. Now, of course, you can't start with the Dirt Monkey over here. Or you know what, maybe I can, and so I don't have to get a Chinook later. Instead, I'll just do something I'll sacrifice to the tempo later, which would be the Ultra Boost. So something like this here will be good, and let's play. Reminder, because playing on Chimps mode, resources are limited, so I do want to make sure all the money goes into more important buffs first and foremost. I might have to buy a range upgrade or 2 in this tempo later, but that'll be alright. Oh yeah, and of course, while here, I'd like to point out these are the rounds that all the other tests got to on their perfect map. If I had to guess, Ultra Juggernaut probably won't do as well as the Inferno Ring or the Ray of Doom, simply due to the cost. But I do think it'll outperform those cheaper tier 5s that I tried already, because legitimately, Ultra Juggernaut goes from a D tier to an S tier tower, simply if you just add walls around the map. Take Sulphur Springs, Hedge, or Cornfield as an example. What's kind of sad right now is that because the Dirt Monkey can't reach, and the Dirt Monkey's behind the wall, we actually need to give, like, Geraldo buffs on our little cleansing foam here to survive. I'll just show you right now, though, Ultra Juggernaut only gets us this much range. I think I'll just go ahead and get primary training and probably mentoring soon. Actually, why don't we just get that right now and see how the range is. So close. It definitely hits mobs from this angle, but it definitely does not get the balloons yet. So how about we now add an out buff? Still no. How about a tier 4 out then? I don't really care about having this discounted, like by the support temple, and damn, that's closer. But we're gonna have to wait for Geraldo's upgrade to give range with the cannon pot. But it honestly should be okay though, because past round 50, we start getting lots and lots and lots of Moabs. So this thing pretty much almost has full uptime on attacking Moabs. Now we just have to kind of rely on the cleansing foam to clean up. We have the money now, so why not see the Ultra Juggernaut action nice and early? Unfortunately, the upgrade doesn't give you a range compared to Juggernaut, so still can't see Cerams. But the moment a mob comes in, it only takes like 2 or 3 shots for literally everything to be wiped out. How glorious does this look, folks? Once again, 1 shot. Or rather, I guess the damage is delayed on a mob, because obviously it takes a while for the Juggernaut balls to split, and also, don't be alarmed by that, like all those balls escaping. I think that's only due to them timing out. I think if there was a target for it to hit, it won't behave like that. Notice how it only happens every single time. It just simply stops attacking. Because between this time, what I didn't show you was that I reinforced the walls like even more, so there's at least 4 or 5 layers for the hedge here. Now, the consequence of that, unfortunately, is that the game takes forever to load into the map due to the sheer amount of props, but it is what it is. Hopefully we don't have to do that much. Here comes the BFB. Once again, pretty much slightly delayed destruction. And now we'll go ahead and get our overclock into Ultra Boost as soon as possible. This is only something that I noticed while testing and making this map, but did you know that when you get Sun Avatar, the Super Monkey actually goes up in height? Or actually, even before that, because you see now it shoots with Plasma Blast, but it didn't earlier. This round's a Rigger Farm. Let me just show you what happens though if you die, retry last round. Because of how many hedges we put in the circle here, it takes like 5 seconds. Actually, it freezes my game too, so even longer to reload it. Unlucky. Okay, we have this now, so I'm just gonna spend 215 just to the peace of mind. See, Super Monkey? It's Laser Blast. It's that upgrade that allows you to see over. I see. That wasn't the intention, but the main purpose of adding this platform was that I could put it closer to the hedge, because you see right now, for some reason, even though the hedges are this far away, you can only put the Super Monkey this close to the map. Just map editor things, that is all. And once again, as you can see, oh, actually, even though it's still shooting, there are still some balls escaping. I tried, but... And now how much damage can we get with the ZMG? Once again, I have the DPS count in the top right corner to show you. It's only doing 100. If we overclock it, closer to like 200. So that's the biggest problem I have with the Juggernaut. As good as it is, it still isn't good single target, even when you give it the best possible map. So I have a feeling our highest round is definitely going to be capped because of bad damage. Doubt it's going to make it past 200 with the introduction of F-Bads at that point. And now for the Ultra Boost, where we'll get 10 stacks on the U-Jug before we sacrifice it to the temple. What's funny is that we did lose the Camel Pot on Geraldo, but because there's so much residual Juggernaut balls, it's still fine. That's how we know we're good. And while we're on the topic of Juggernaut, I never really dived into the stats of this tower so much, but did you know it actually gets extra fortify damage? At least at base, it's double the fortify damage, extra Ceram damage too, and extra lead damage. So DDT really shouldn't be that much of an issue. They really want to shore up its DDT popping, because damn, 20 extra damage is no joke. Given that this round is partially fortified, we should have no problems. Might even see a new high already in terms of DPS. Can we get 10k with just a simple out buff and jungle drum buffed Juggernaut? Close. There it is. I saw it for just a brief second. Cleared out, no problem. How about for, again, DDT is 10 stacks now. Unfortunately, as you see, only 300 damage per second, even though we're max stacked. It'll take about 1.5, 2 loops out of the 24 to break down the bad layer. 10th rounds are heaven for the U-Jug. I'm delighted to see this round. Lots of fortifieds, lots of BFBs. Yep, 15,000 peak. We're only just getting started, everybody. Very close to affording our temple now, but still like 5k short. So we'll have to beat the 3 bads here with just the raw power of the balls. This here is loop number 3. About 3.5 loops, it seems. Probably longer for these ones, because the problem with the Ultra Boost, you only get 3 uses per round, so gotta be this part without U-Boost. But no biggie, because that's still only like 20% of the track length. And with the money here, I think it is officially time to blast off. Sun Temple, I won't have enough money for overclock immediately, but hopefully get that within due time. And it looks like I'm missing just a little bit of range, so just a simple 410. And there we go. Now that we got our overclock buff, what's next? Well, probably to get a Call to Arms, or rather Homeland. Eventually, I'll turn this into a P-Brew, but I just realized that if I upgrade this, then it'll actually buff my temple, but not really much we can do unless I want to still spend money. A Chinook still on the table, by the way. And now we can see a new high of DPS, inching closer and closer to 30,000. And oh god, the leaking balls are really, really bad this round. Again, I don't know what caused it. If anybody knows exactly why, then please let me know. You know, I wonder if there's even a need to buy back the camo pot, because the only reason I bought it was for range, and the only thing it gives is, well, camo damage, but we don't need that since DTs are just fine, so I don't think we really have to draw the buff the U-Jug anymore. Kind of unfortunate that now we have no hero. I guess the only other hero that will help really is Pat Fusty, giving, I think, +3 damage for a brief amount of time. But here's the F-Bad. Only about 700 DPS, 1,000 when Call to Arms is active, and that's not good. Still, it's not a major concern because there's no F-Bad until around 200, but that still is a good indicator to see the damage against normal bads, in which case the DPS would be even lower because of the lack of fortified damage. I think this will take about 5.5/6 loops to beat. Alright, update. These rounds are taking a mind-numbingly amount of time to complete. I think I left my computer for 20 minutes and we still only happened to progress 10 rounds, but luckily we did finally get Homeland now, so we're actually hopefully be going by a little bit quicker. And the DPS should be skyrocketing. I think I saw 40,000 earlier. And also on the same note of giving range, I don't think there's much use of really getting the expertise. Like, you do get a little bit extra Pierce on the Ultra Juggernaut, but the Pierce is really not supposed to be an issue in Ultra Juggernaut, since we're pretty much getting 50 Pierce minimum from the mini balls, and even more from the big balls. So as far as I'm aware, that's a waste of 20k, and could probably be better spent getting other things first, of course. Despite all the buffs we added in the last 10 rounds are still taking, like, over 2 minutes. Go figure when, you know, a single bat is taking 2 or 3 loops before hitting a single damage phase. I'm very close to working my way towards Energizer next, which will be a huge boost for all my village abilities. I think after that, I still think I'm gonna skip P-Brew for now, and maybe go for Glue Storm next. I mean, right now I can't even say that the Perm-Brew uptime or the Stronger Stim uptime is that bad. Even with Homeland and all 10 Ultra Boost stacks, I'm seeing like 70% uptime, it feels like, on the Stim. That's already pretty good. And now 172, we get Energizer, and this also beats the round that Glaive Lord got to, so take that, Glaive Lord enjoyers. Although I know in fairness, Glaive Lord had a much shorter map, but still, U-Jug best tower. Now, I'm gonna count how many loops this bat takes this round, just out of curiosity. 8 nodes, 22, 23, 24, pretty much exactly halfway is where the bat pops. So just for some food for thought. Yep, that pretty much confirms it. If no round kills us before 200, then 200 definitely will. Good news, we finally were able to get up all the damage buffs, aka Super Brittle, Glue Storm, and the Cripple Moab, but still things are moving at a snail's pace. Oh yeah, and also to make sure the U-Jug got the strongest buff possible, just went for the 420 crosspathing Elk, since I'm obviously not getting P-Brew at this point. It's kind of funny what happens when you keep a ZMG stunned. The U-Jug balls only bounce in one pattern. Holy craps, some of the patterns are really bad. As you see, they're just straight shooting out. What the hell? Other times, like, it works completely fine, and everything stays within. Kind of funny how that works in it. I think I'll just do one last buff here, aka an Embroiderment, just to make sure every part of the circle is covered, but other than that, that's as much as I can really spend. And for the last round before 200, I think it would only make sense to count how far each bat gets here. 8 nodes. As you can see, the current mult buff or debuff is pretty nutty. It's gonna allow us to beat that first bat like way quicker than others. It's 10 nodes, 20 nodes, 21. That's where number 2 pops. Not gonna lie, I think there actually is a chance that we beat at least one of the F-Bads. Because you saw, like, the first bat got propped pretty early. This took about 25 nodes, by the way. And don't forget the extra fortified damage, too. I think combined, there actually might be a chance to break through 200. And it would be amazing, too, if they happen to be spaced enough apart that they overlap each other when the second one comes in. I guess there's only one way to find out. But now, moment of truth to see if we have enough to tank. And they are pretty much overlapped. Although I don't know if the Cripple Mob debuff is still big enough to like hit that far back. And I think it is though. You saw the X show up a few times, but actually no, not all the time though. Only one specific corner of the map, aka right here. That's kind of weird. I didn't count, but bad number one's about to blow. And it shouldn't take too much longer for the last bad to finally fall. Oh, so just in case you're curious, this temple is actually putting in work. It actually benefits better from the damage offs compared to the U-Jug, just because the vanilla main bolt is pretty weak. And there it is. We did pop it. And we'll probably eventually stun it. Yep, with the curve Moab. So that pretty much guarantees that these things won't leak. Call me shocked. I thought there was no way we could beat this round, given how dire it looked 30 rounds prior, but those damage offs really add up. Well, if we happen to still survive long enough to accumulate enough money, next would either be the Expertise or the P-Brew. I don't know which one's better. Just because Expertise would give a slightly reduced cooldown on the Glue Storm. Right now it's not full uptime. I don't have enough patience to watch any longer, so I'll cut and see you guys later once we're dead or close to dying. Okay, so I just got greeted with this screen. Death on round 210, but I had $32,000. So I guess one last hurrah here would be the Expertise. Might do a decent amount of damage, not gonna lie. That will add up over time. But we'll see how significant it ends up being, and I see why this round is difficult. 2 bads this time, definitely. Definitely no overlap from the sniper. Regardless if it dies here or not, this tower exceeded my expectations by a lot. Looks like we're gonna get about an extra 350,000 damage in. 1 F-bat out of 2 down, but I gotta assume those UMDs are gonna exit at some point, those fortifieds. Anytime. Oh, there's the last loop. I'll switch to first quickly to see if it's gonna save me, but no, once everything or something exits, well, obviously the Juggernaut balls can't chase it, so that'll do it. 210. Now, before I send off, I think it would be incomplete if we didn't at least just test the Paragon real quick. So as you see, I just changed every tower's price to very, very low, just so I could buy the Apex Plasma Master. And I guess also feed it the max cash lighter. And this will end up being degree 88. Yes, turn the challenge from legitimate to, well, no longer legitimate. And now we'll just go ahead and show you the damage that we're getting with the Apex Plasma Master. Unsurprisingly, absolutely blasting through the Ultra Juggernaut ties damage. I saw like 200k at one point. Did you expect anything else from the Ultra Juggernaut itself? And also, why not just test round 300 real quick? Do you think the Apex can catch up this scaling? Holy crap, 500,000, 600,000. This is gonna come down to the wire, isn't it? Anytime now, anytime now. 13,000 damage, single target, it looks like. So about 3-4x more than the U-Jug, and nope. We broke the layer, but DDT's too fast. That'll do it for real. Thank you for making it to the end. If you enjoy these types of videos, then please subscribe for more. Or if you missed any of the previous tests, then click on the videos here.